So I wanted to talk about I wanted to talk a bit about secrets in games. This is kind of one of those, oh, everything was better before talks, but which is not true, but in some ways it is. So I'm trying to start some stuff. Let's see. VLC has this weird delay before it starts. Oh, stop asking me. Whoa. Evil program. So basically, do you remember how awesome it was in like Super Mario 3 when play as it is? Ah, this is so annoying. So you know, in level 2 where you had that hammer, and then you could just like blast open this rock randomly and then like enter. Holy shit, there's a whole big room in there that's like just, then you get this chest with this stuff inside, and then you meet an enemy that like only shows up at like one other place in the entire game. Or let's see, I wish I could just clone the screen. Like I have this thing where I have to like keep looking there to do stuff. This is annoying. Let's change this.
Did you just pick the lower resolution?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I have to do. Duplicate, display.
Just install Windows.
This is Windows. Okay. There we go. So basically, do you remember this awesome thing with the white blocks? And for some very strange reason, if you would just hold the down key on those, then you would like fall through them and end up in the background. Like, back when I played these games, this like blew my mind, because I had played the game so much. And then suddenly somebody comes up to me and says that, hey, you can do this awesome thing. And then like, I end up like behind the scenery, like, is this even possible in a game? And then there's like the Super Mario Bros. World stuff that's like totally crazy. That basically you would make this kind of weird flight, end up. Let's see here. Okay, just get there already. Then we do this awesome thing and then like grab the key and end up like in an alternative path. Then you could like repeat that a number of times to beat like the game in just a few minutes instead of like several hours, or get to this star world, and then inside that star world you would find a secret that like opened up the special zone that was even more secret. So it was like a secret inside a secret, and basically I want to bring that back, and because you know today it works differently, unfortunately. Like the Mario games, oh, VLC, come on. There we go. So for example, in Mario Galaxy, this is like how modern games does it. Select a level and you get this menu that shows up here. And 2 question marks.
That's a secret.
No, exactly, that's not a fucking secret. Like the thing, this is new Super Mario DS. You have like World 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and then 4 and 7 are these alternative paths that you can take that are kind of like these secret paths that, no, not really secret. Like, wouldn't it blow your mind a lot more if like nobody told you that these worlds were there in the first place, and then you would just like randomly stumble upon a path that would take you to an alternative world, and then you would go like, whoa. But there's nothing like that about it now, and even worse, like in each level there are like free coins you're supposed to pick up to unlock some extra world, and basically you just know that these free coins are going to be in every world. And I guess what the thing about today is the completion bar, like the 100% thing, and I really think that in some ways has ruined perfectly good games, because these days you know when you have found everything, and you know when you have stuff to find. I remember when I played the first Mass Effect game. So basically it had like this world map. You could travel around between stars. That was really cool. There were these like silly planets you can land on, look for items, and the game wouldn't tell you where the items were. This is an example of a game where the completion thing screws it up, because you know how many items there are spread across the galaxy if you like look on the surface of each planet with that annoying vehicle. But the problem is, because you know how much there is, but you don't know where it is. It just becomes this frustrating thing that you don't care about, like trying to land on every planet, find all these annoying objects. I guess the game got a lot of complaints because nobody cared to get all that stuff. People don't. That's like the one thing people ignore in Mass Effect 1. In the second game, instead, they tried to fix it by adding like the percentage thing that actually says how much you have found in each star system, which means it's actually much easier to find everything. But then it just becomes really boring to scan every planet. It's just this task that just goes on forever. And to me, it really felt like the way they tried to fix it in Mass Effect 2 by removing the landing on the different planets and exploring them was a bad choice. They should have kept that part, but not instead like hide those planets away, and then you would randomly stumble upon them, and then there would be something cool there instead of just like collecting objects on like so you could achieve like 100%. I want to bring back good secrets in games, and to do that I want to show what good secrets in life are. So I live in northern Sweden in a town called Umeå. I was out walking in next to the river. It's a quite beautiful walk. Let's see. Pause. So I was following the river up to an old power plant, water power plant. It looks kind of like this. I just stole these pictures from the internet. But basically, so I found this door here. And this door had like one of those password locks, but I saw that the door was kind of like open a little bit, and I realized I could walk inside that, like inside this thing here. And you know, I felt like, okay, I'm not supposed to do this, but I kind of want to. So I kind of opened the door, went in, and then like the lights turned off, like bam. So basically, it's like, imagine, you know, the film thing where they turn on like some really huge lights in a film, and it sounds like this. Wait, that was supposed to make a sound. Oh, did that application stop working now? This is so annoying. That sound. It didn't actually make that sound, but it would have been amazing if it did. Either way, this is what I saw in front of me. Like, light goes on, and that is there. Like, how amazing is that? Later it turned out that it's actually a piece of art that has like all these signs pointing, like you should go here, open this door, and stuff like that. Which is really boring, of course. But the thing is, I didn't know this when I found this. I just opened a random door by accident, and like the most amazing secret happened in front of me. I also have this thing, I really like secrets secret is a lot about like finding stuff in something you don't like. Like if I find something really beautiful and inspiring in a really, really good film, then I have seen something that like a million of other people have seen. If I find something I really appreciate in a film that absolutely sucks, then I found a secret. Like for example, the Chronicles of Riddick. Like check this scene. There's a specific zoom I'm after. They're out, in this scene they're out running like sunrise because it's really warm or something. So they are down there. Check this zoom. I'm gonna just do this really slowly. Whoop, whoop. They're on a super tiny planet. Like because the CGI people apparently didn't make the zoom long enough. That instead has to mean that they're on like the super, super tiny planet outrunning a sunset. And that's like really inspiring, even though it's just a mistake in the film. It can also be the stuff like just walking outside and finding like these weird, crazy objects. Or like some cool leaves that I photograph and like put in a game. One secret I really want to tell you about is a series of books called Pavan. They look like this. It's 15 comic books written by a dyslexic artist. 10 of them were written when he was 93 years old. It opens up with basically an instruction how you can make your own Pavan, which is like the main character. Then it explains like the tree he lives in and like all the stuff underground. A very weird explanation of the world and how his hat translates to a map that you're supposed to figure out. Then it keeps going even more how you fold the Pavan from a piece of paper. Only 2 of the books actually are named, and the 2 that are named are both named Stolen, which means the chair. And it's like the most absurd stories that like doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like everything is alive in the world of Pavan, like every teacup and every little object, and it's like a whole decoding process to even understand what you're looking at. Only 500 of each book were ever printed, and it took me like 2 full years to track them down, and nobody has ever heard about them. So that's like a secret to me. Like opening those books to me is just like, come on, make sounds, stupid application. Like that. Or just a secret can also be just a door that's like for some reason hangs in the ceiling instead of like is at the ground. There was this super nice walk that I happened to have a camera. So I was walking also in my hometown close to the river. There's a specific walk which we call Strandpromenaden, or the beach stroll or something like that. It's not really a beach stroll. It kind of follows the river, but like 100 meters away from it. And it's like there are trees in the way, so you don't actually see the river or anything like that. So I was kind of just walking. Then I looked for this, found this like small path going to the left, almost invisible. And then I suddenly came out to the water and had like this, yeah, there was just a path like this going all the way, and I didn't meet a single person. Like normally you would always see people at Strandpromenaden. This was amazing. Came to this really cool like forest thing with like the trees going like that and me in the middle. Bridge. And then it's kind of like I got to some water here that I couldn't cross, so I kind of like followed this path back. A point with this, what I thought about this, if I would apply it to game design is, okay, there we go. If this is the normal path, the one that most people would go, this is the one I found. But how often would that ever happen in a game, that you make a path the one where most people go, but put the most beautiful stuff aside that for only a few people to discover? I guess a lot of developers don't dare to do that thing, because it's like you really want to make sure that everybody sees like all the best stuff. But that also takes away like the beauty of having these really crazy secrets that doesn't exist, at least not that much anymore. Today they would just have this like small passage, get some ammo here, return to the main track, run off, get some more ammo, get some bonus challenge on some other path. I guess you get the idea. Also, secrets can be destroyed in real life. I've always wanted to go to North Cape, you know, the kind of the tip of Norway up there. I've always had like this, I wonder what that place is like. It must be kind of tricky to get there. How do you get there? Can you drive there? I haven't been sure because I never looked it up. So I've always had this plan to go there just to see the area. Then I found out when I actually looked it up on Google Maps that it looks like that. Like, there's this thing here. There's like a building there. And like they even have a fence. Like, why do you have a fence? Like, that's how you destroy a secret in real life. Or by like putting a bench where you can sit down on next to something like this. Like, there's no mystery. This is a very special place. This is quite a beautiful place, pretty much in nowhere in Sweden, in northern Sweden. I happened to be in a summer house around this area. Got a chance to take a boat, like one of those rowing boats, out to this island. I think we stopped here, something like that. That's really cool, going to some island in the middle of nowhere, and the first thing we see is basically a sign that explains like what island this is and its history and stuff like that. And to me that really spoiled the kind of mystery secret feel of it, because it's like explaining it. And I guess a lot of people want to explain everything these days, and yeah, it's true both for real life and in games, and I really think it takes something away from what makes a secret good. To me, a lot of like secrets is about just doing crazy weird stuff. For example, I like looking around for super silly small iPad apps that basically music apps that hopefully nobody has ever heard of, almost. Like if they're glitchy and super weird and doesn't really work, then if I manage to somehow get something that sounds good out of them, it really feels like I find a secret as part of like developing the game. I also integrate kind of this, in Knut Underground I made a secret that's, we had a sandwich jam at Doug's place. I wonder if Doug is here. Douglas Wilson was part of this sandwich jam, and so what we did was that we decided to have a competition. We were going to make sandwiches and we were going to put the best one in the game. So this one is called Evil Insanity. We ended up with a winner which is called Katie's Foot. We put the sandwich recipe in a super secret area of the game, even tied it into the story, like that it's a plot point. And then later I got this post that we cannot see because the resolution is too low. I made a sandwich. And that's so awesome. Like somebody actually made a sandwich that we had put in my game. That felt really good. Like, there's also a program called th0nk underscore 0+2, which is like, looks like this. It's a weird granular synthesizer. You basically put a sound inside the program, another sound comes out that's nothing like the sound you put in it. It's, to me, that's a secret. I keep my old Mac that runs OS 9 around because that's the only thing the program runs on. So I have a computer dedicated to running one piece of software that I really don't know what it does, except that it creates sounds. But basically, it's stuff that comes out of the program can sound like this. Let's see, where's the main window? This is so confusing. Oh, there we go. So I even refer to that program as like my secret weapon of composing music. And then there's the figure space. I should show you that in Knut Underground. Let's see. Whoop. Not even sure it's going to work on this resolution, but let's find out. Loop. Some developer cheats there. So basically, this is a secret area that me and Steven Usher we met up in a summer house, and there's this music app for iPad, which is called Figure, which is pretty cool. You can create it's by propeller heads, and you can create these awesome tracks in. It's really quick to work with. So because I was really tired of like the main development in the game, so instead me and Steven kind of just switched, like gave the iPad between us, and like then we tried to compose these super silly tunes, and made this whole area that's basically insanely hard, because we put everything here that's so hard that we could never put it in like the main game. But I invested quite a lot of time in this. Like this is a secret that the game never mentions like in any bit, yet there's probably like 150 rooms full of just stuff. And people really liked it. When people found it, they were like kind of amazed by the fact that it just kept going and going, and wasn't just this small thing, but rather this like really huge thing. Either way, that's like the kind of stuff I also want to, I hope like we could bring back into more games today. I also want to talk about glitches, because I really like a good glitch. Essentially, glitches doesn't need to make games worse. I think they can make games better. Journey is like my most favorite example of glitches in games, because yeah, I guess you have played Journey. Like you meet up with a random person on the internet, you're not given a way to communicate with the person, but except like tapping a button and making these sounds. But what's really unique about that game is that when you really get into it, and meet up with people, and you kind of want that experience, but you're kind of bored of the regular levels. Then you start teaching each other tricks to like how to get out of the world. Like this thing here, if you specifically like tilt the camera down while you fly towards that wall, like you recharge your fly power way beyond how much you're supposed to be able to use it. So when this guy finally starts flying, well, it should be fully charged now, that person can just randomly fly like that. It's kind of awesome. Like, it really blew my mind when somebody told me that. Then you end up like outside the game world, where there are like these billboards that are like from the cutscenes, and then if you keep walking a bit further, let's see, this should be the spot. I just stole this video from the internet too. Yeah, then you end up in this area where basically everything goes dark, which is super weird. They kind of changed the entire color theme in certain areas outside the map, probably because that's where they placed the camera to show a certain cutscene. What's also really beautiful about these glitch areas, and pretty much every level has them, is that you can, when you take somebody outside them, there's kind of this huge risk in it. Because you can get stuck in walls, and like if you go to the wrong place, the wind will catch you and just like push you into a position you cannot get out of. So there's this risk of like losing your friend and like never being able to play with that person again, which is a shame if you find somebody who's really fun to play with. So it introduces a weird risk factor that they specifically tried to let the game, like, try to avoid in the game. And this whole glitch area is basically like, I would say 50% of what makes the game is so great is the game, and the other 50% is the glitches. And oh yeah, basically if they could patch up all this and fix all of this, they would essentially ruin all the cool stuff the game would be about. They recently put up a 2.0 update where they fixed a few of them, but it was very obvious that they specifically only fixed the ones where a person would end up by mistake and ruin their first experience. All the other ones that you need skill to get out of, they just left there. And it's the best decision ever. Also want to show this cool thing. Let's see. So there's, oh, I'm supposed to play that in an emulator. Let's see, which one is the Nintendo one? There we go. This is a ROM hack of Super Mario Bros. 3. And what this ROM hack does is, because when Nintendo basically ditched a level and didn't want it to have it in the game, they didn't remove it from the cartridge or from, from the memory, whatever. They just kept it in there as an unreferenced level. And so somebody just ROM hacked these levels back into the game. So these were actually, these are present in the cartridge, but like, they are just not available in the game. But if they would have removed like all the stuff, then nobody would have ever seen it. And because I'm limited on time, I should point out that goes for several games. Like Shadow of the Colossus, if they made these beautiful places but didn't really end up using them, they didn't remove the models, they just put it away somewhere in the game world. And then people who are like glitching the game, figuring out ways to like fall down without triggering the death screen, they kind of find these weird rooms and like put them on the internet, and people are really amazed to see all this. And that's also an example of how like glitching and not removing models, even though you place them where you thought that nobody would ever see them, essentially makes the game better. because of my limited time, I guess I should stop it here or something. Point is, like, put secrets there without, like, dare to not point out where they are, and accept, like, do secrets that you don't expect everybody to find. And also, if you make like 3D games or physics games where it's possible to do these crazy sequence breaking tricks and like get out of the map, if it's really hard, maybe consider not fixing it, because it could make the game better not to. And finally, not removing, like, instead of throwing stuff away, like put them away in the game and see what happens if somebody just digs them out. That's all I wanted to say.